Hey YouTube, this is Evie speaking. I'm here to actually do a video response for Moonlit Tarot. I promised her in the her response video to her challenge that I would do a video on my... I'm going to try to stick with 6 top most unused decks that I have in my collection that are absolutely stunning, that I really want to work with again and reconnect myself with again. The reason why I chose 6 versus like half of my collection, believe it or not, is because I did 6 when I did Kelly Bear's video of my top 5 decks, and then I threw in a bonus 6 one. So, the first one on my list here for today, I don't know how good my lighting is in here. Hold on, let me turn on the lights. Hopefully that will be a little bit better. It looks like I have a halo. I don't know. I'm sorry about that, everybody. I'm hoping that the lighting is not going to be a problem. But my first card deck that I'm pulling out is the Duggan's Witch's Tarot. I got this for my birthday last year from my wonderful husband. He absolutely loves, excuse me, this deck. He loves this deck, and he got this for me because the art in it actually is pretty stunning. I read the guidebook for almost like cover to cover. These images are absolutely wonderful and beautiful. I think I did a tarot review video on this before, but just haven't had the time to push it on YouTube yet. I did my collage decks. Oh, that's not good. I might have to trim this deck. Some of the borderings are kind of fading away on some of the cards here. I don't know. I was living in a basement of my in-laws' place for a little bit, and some of my cards, and this one took a bad beating. Some of my cards in my card decks kind of had some moisture wear and tear. And this one I kind of suffered from it really bad, and not just the one card. This one was almost folded over, actually. Not just this one card, but it looked like it got a pretty bad beating all around. I don't like that, but what are you gonna do? So I might have to trim that deck, unfortunately, even though I don't want to. But I'm hoping to get reconnected with it again. But that's my finale, what I would do to actually reconnect my decks. And this is my second one on my list, the Moonlit Tarot. It actually is the coolest ass deck out there. I'll show you this. Hippie. Hippie, hippie. Can't we say hippie? Love it. I use this is not really a tarot deck per se, even though it's called the Moonlit Tarot. It's more of an oracle deck, believe it or not. But I just love it. It's actually, there's the backs of it. Love it, love it, love it. It's all black and white. It's completely hysterical. I don't know if it's actually going to show you the words forward. It actually looks like it's going backwards on my screen, but I don't know if it's going to be forward on your screen. But it's funny, has a sense of humor, and believe it or not, when you're combining tarot decks and oracle decks together, this works very well with another deck I have on my list, and I'm actually going to show you that one next. The believe it or not, this Morgan Tarot with funniest sense of humor gels with the Prisms Tarot. You could read them both together, and their energies actually are kind of funny, how they work very well together. I love this deck. The Prisms Tarot is a indie deck or a self-published deck, but oh my god, and it's absolutely gorgeous with gilded sidings. However, the cardstock on it scares me to death because it's a harder, thicker cardstock, and one of my cards, actually it's this one, I don't know if I'll show you, yeah, you can a little bit in the, it actually creased a little bit there at the bottom right here while I rifle shuffled it once when I first got it, and it made me freak out, and I'm scared to shuffle this deck ever since. But it's a sequence tarot deck, absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I love the imagery. I could almost just do meditation journals on this deck, or meditation journaling on this deck, I should say. It's just beautiful. It's a sequence deck. I still to this day don't have any other sequence decks. This is the only sequence deck that I know is a complete, like a visual, you could make a whole sequence out of it. And it's just beautiful. I love the art. It reminds me of Van Gogh. My heart sinks when I see this deck. I love it. But I'm afraid to shuffle it. I'm afraid to read with it because it's slippery. I've done a review on it. It's slippery. I'm scared of shuffling it because of the cardstock. It's so thick. And if you thought the Wild and Unknown Tarot was thick cardstock, this one makes it look normal. Let's just put it that way. But it's such a beautiful deck. It makes me cry that I don't use it. But like I said, I'm going to show you what my solution, a book that I've been reading that is a good solution to this. My fourth card deck is the Drewko Tarot. I love it. I love the Drewko. It is one of the most popular decks out there, I should say. Okay, so I could just throw it out there. And I've actually trimmed mine. That's the backing to it. It looked the same before I trimmed it, so there you go. But I trimmed mine and put the numbers there. It's actually a very, I'd say it's a masculine deck. I say it's a very masculine deck, energy-wise. But I didn't I think I'm going to number the majors now that I'm looking at it. But I didn't number the majors, but I did number in the minor arcana and label the minor arcana in this deck. I love it. It's beautiful. I just didn't connect with it. It just didn't say Evie. Grabbing cards. That's a King of Cups right there. And I think some of it is it's not even about the minors or the pips in this deck that I don't connect with. It's the court cards. Some of the court cards. I'm not saying I'm into the supermodel court cards at all, but it kind of is like, this is a good example. They're kind of normal people, but it kind of, I don't know. I don't know. There's something about it that is like, like I said, I'm not really into the supermodel decks, but this one almost kind of is like, to me. Alright, but that's the Drewko Tarot. I'm not going to do a review on it today. And the other one of the other ones, next one on my list is the Deviant Moon Tarot. Although I think Deviant Moon and I have gotten a better relationship since this book. This is actually the cards I picked up to use for this book because I just thought, okay, they're all going to be in order, so I'm going to try to keep them in order. I actually picked this one up for the book just as a good example because it's a beautiful deck. I love the artwork. It reminds me of, what is it, Nightmare Before Christmas? In this little town of Halloween, it's Halloween. I'm sorry, my family is into the Nightmare Before Christmas. And so I resonate with the artwork very well. It's not the artwork that I don't think I connect with. It was just something that was just saying, meh. But I think most of my kinks with this deck is kind of worked out. I wouldn't say it's 100% yet, and we have a good relationship together. But we kind of are setting aside some of our differences and kind of working together. I think that's enough of the images. But the Deviant Moon Tarot is a borderless edition. It's the one that I've chose for my deck challenge. And it's kind of been rocky, but it kind of revealed stuff in myself, though. Okay, my number one deck that I cannot connect with, drumroll please, is the Cabalistic Tarot. I have never taken out of sequence. It's reversible. Back is reversible. It's by Schiffer Publishing, and it's by, I can't pronounce their names to save my life, but it also has beautiful gilded edges. I've never seen this deck reviewed on anywhere. So I probably will do a review on this deck after I heal my problems with it. Because I have never used it, I never took it out of sequence, and I never read with it. Because when I got this deck, I saw only just very, very minimal images of this deck. And very, very minimal images of this deck. And I just thought, for the minimal images that I did see, that it would look like something I could read with. No. It was not something that is very readable in my book, because I'm not too very familiar with the Kabbalah. And I was reading the book, and they have all these Kabbalah references, and it almost sounded like you had to be an expert of Kabbalah to read with this deck, and I'm like, this is something I'm not getting my head around. It's not something I'm just grasping. I'm not really grasping the Kabbalah very well. It's not that I don't want to grasp it, it's just something is not jiving or clicking quite yet with the Kabbalah with me. I think it's because I'm not raised in the Kabbalah traditions. I've been taught maybe I shouldn't show that card. I read this card. I forgot about there's some questionable imagery in this deck. But yeah, there were some questionable imageries in this deck that I forgot to warn people, and I kind of forgot too. But yeah, this deck has just been very, very hard for me to connect with, just because of the Kabbalah, heavy Kabbalistic references, and just it just felt like I had to be an expert in Kabbalah just to read with it, and I'm like, I can't do that. And so it's been sitting in my bag for quite some time. My tarot bag. I have a big tarot bag with my tarot collection in it. Alright. And you're going to ask me, how are you going to solve some of these deck connecting issues? I've only shown you a little bit of my collection that I don't use. I actually have more cards that I don't use than I use. Sadly enough. I wish I could say it's the other way around. I bought more card decks that I use than I don't use, but these ones are the popular ones that I just still love. It yearns. It's like, gotta work with this deck. But I have not been able to use them. Because there's a block somewhere. And so I got myself a book. A tarot playbook by, what's her name? Not sure first publishing. Linda Crawls. And it's a wonderful book. Wonderful, wonderful. Everybody, tarot reader, should at least have this copy as a reference in the guidebook. Or not their guidebook, but as a reference in their book collection. And it's wonderful. I'm actually, this is where I'm at with the Deviant Moon, and this is where I am at reading some of the exercises. And I'm gotta say, the exercises are quite fun. It's hilarious. It's easy to get along with. And it's not like pulling your leg. You could go at your own pace with your card decks. You're not forced to do the 78-day challenge, or you're not forced to doing it within a week or anything like that. You go at your pace where you're not going to be burned out. Then that's what her intentions were in this book. And I highly recommend it. This book be on every tarot reader's bookshelves when they're having a particularly hard deck that is hard to read with. And I say that's my video response to Moonlit Tarot for my top 5 most disliked decks. I think hate is a strong word, so I'm going to say disliked decks. Alright, and I hope to see you next time.